Hello, everyone. How are you? Happy new moon in Sagittarius. I'm hoping that this is uploaded before it actually takes place. I've got about 4 hours. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss this because it is such a bombastic, and this energy is like reverberating on and on and on. It's such a fortunate conglomeration of planets that we have right now in Taurus, and for the full moon in Sagittarius as well. Really, this whole month is incredible. There's a few days that are kind of iffy, but really, for the most part, this month is a breath of fresh air, and he's showing me that we're getting on like a magic carpet, and we're gonna just be taking off through the month of June. So, I keep saying to everybody who has placements at 20 degrees, like, what a big time this is for you. And once again, I mean, it really is. Even later, like 20 to 25 with this energy, you're definitely going to feel it. And he's saying it shook, like this energy. Like there will be a shookening. In so whatever area that falls in for you, when you look at the sign of Taurus in your chart, you can always too, if you don't know your chart, if you don't know what time you were born, if you Google ephemeris and look up your birth date, you can find out where the planets were on the day that you were born. It won't give you the houses. You need your time for that. But I know I do that for people, and there are other astrologers who can help you if you really need to know the time for your houses. But you can do a lot without the houses too. So let's talk about the new moon in Taurus. So I wanted to just show you the energy. So I do the charts with universal time. I just want you to take a look and see how packed that first house is. Look at all of the planets there. So earlier today, the moon met with Venus, very fortunate energy, and the divine feminine goddesses there. The moon is exalted in Taurus, and Venus is at home in Taurus. I always ask which asteroids that we should look at for whatever moon event is coming, and he told me Pandora, as in Pandora's box. So Pandora is at 29 degrees of Taurus. The new moon takes place at 18, and then couple of degrees later is Uranus, a couple of degrees later is Jupiter, a couple of degrees later is Pandora. So all of those energies are melded together. And he asked me to look up the mythology about Pandora's box. So it isn't just about he was drawing the comparison to what is happening in the world today, and that the force of hope, he's using the term the force of hope, was still in the box when everything else was unleashed from the box. Hope remained in the box. So this is about looking at everything that's happening in our external circumstances, and not so much being blind to it, but not giving it so much attention. He's saying shifting our focus to the hope of what we've been promised, hope of a better tomorrow. He is talking about reminiscing about the childhood dream, what you dreamt of as a child. This energy is so potent if you can harness it just by making yourself a part of it. The Sabian symbol, Venus, who is ruling the new moon, is at 11 degrees of Taurus, and the Sabian symbol is a woman sprinkling flowers. So it's really about you, the flower, and how you're going to take care of yourself, process this energy through. He's saying by encouraging yourself, by giving yourself the same love and acceptance that you give others, having hopeful expectations for the future, and recognizing, he's saying that your world can shift, that things can change on a dime. He's saying on a dime. I don't usually say that. You'll see Ceres up there in Capricorn, she's in a harmonious trine to that energy. And Sirius is like the cusp of Virgo and Libra because she has a lot to do with returning. Well, he just said with justice, and he used the word vengeance simultaneously with justice. So, I mean, vengeance doesn't have to be anything, terrible. It's like coming back, like a reckoning, because she is about, she separates the wheat from the chaff. So she's the scythe in Virgo, but then she's about justice and equal measure and not so much tit for tat, but, what we've invested in. If you notice that there's Pluto there heading back toward where Ceres is right now. It's about like investments that you've made. He's saying becoming gold in front of your eyes is the way that he's saying it. So, rather than looking back and lamenting, he's saying past decisions that we've made or where we felt we were taken advantage of or not given our due. Maybe he's even using the example of somebody claiming credit for your idea or somebody finding success because of something that you did and then your return on that investment was small. This is where it can come back. It may not come back in the way that we expected or from that person, but it is coming back. You can't say always, ever, really, what is going to happen when the planet Uranus is involved, but it's always something that we don't see coming. It's a surprise. And, I actually had to do healing work about being surprised because a lot of times when things happen that are surprising and shocking, it's something that we didn't want. But, we can have happy surprises too. So focusing on where happy surprises could come in. And he's saying always living with that hopeful expectation for tomorrow that we're here to be the light and that we can bring light. He's saying to drastic situations. I feel like he's talking to at least one person in particular with that. So I'm going to just say the times in case it does get put up before it takes place. It's on the 8th at 4:21 a.m. in London, the 7th at 10:21 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on the 8th at 1:21 p.m. in Sydney. So 213, that's like the 3 of Pentacles when it's in Taurus. It's happening at 18 degrees of Taurus. And Pluto coming back in to Aquarius now for the last time. He's moving back and he's still in Aquarius, but we want to pay attention now. He's wrapping up Capricorn from 2008 as the first time that he went there. So think back to, he's saying the landscape. And he's saying before you were woke. So a lot of people have experienced awakening while Pluto was in Capricorn. Pluto in Aquarius is woke. And, it's not, I keep hearing a tarot reader that I watch saying that it's the death of establishment. Pluto isn't about death. He's about death and rebirth. He's the phoenix that rises, gets to the ashes, but then he comes back up. So, the United States was built we came to be when Pluto was where he is now. So, important to let go of patterns, and he's saying long held responsibilities, especially those pertaining to another. And he's focusing, I see some men, but he's focusing mainly on females. And he is showing where maybe a wife took responsibility or, did more than her share in a relationship. I know a lot of people leaving relationships now. Black Moon Lilith is trine Jupiter. So in a harmonious connection from Virgo to Jupiter. And then that is trine the Ceres Pluto midpoint. So that could be where somebody, Black Moon Lilith, was, in their reptilian nature, maybe a snake that stole, or, that you felt stole from you. That energy, again, coming back, reaping the rewards, the bounty. He's using the word bounty. Union is in harmonious trine. Union is in Leo. trine the North Node in Aries, and they are trine the Great Attractor at the center of Sagittarius, and that is a magnetic force. So it could be, especially with Uranus involved, this could be a soulmate union. The asteroid union is about the union of soulmates, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it's a romantic connection. This is like soul family, too, because whoever, you're meeting now he's saying it's a fortuitous event. And also he's mentioning people from your past, long lost people, and he's actually showing me child. So I don't know if any of you have been in connection with people from your childhood, but he's talking about long lost soul family members, people that we've been asking to, meet up with. I know a lot of people are still feeling kind of isolated just from the pandemic, like that's still going on. So get out, go out, do stuff, socialize. Pluto in Aquarius is like the meeting of the minds. You're like, the people who are like you. So you could always find a meetup group, something like that. Pholus and Zion are in Capricorn. Zion speaks to like the self-undoing. It's like the death of the ego, and Pholus is something coming back from the past. That's trine Juno. Hera is Juno, and then trine Venus. So that is a soulmate energy, but again, doesn't need to be a romantic partnership. But there's so many things in the astrology pointing to soulmates. Saturn is opposite the Black Moon Lilith and Juno midpoint. And Saturn is sextile this energy of the new moon as well. So this is, especially because it is Taurus. I know somebody who was born with the full moon in Taurus, and whenever I see the person, Spirit shows me the person as a giant tortoise. That's all of us now, because this is a slow and steady energy. Uranus doesn't necessarily mean quick. Uranus is a change, a radical shift, but it doesn't have to be an overnight shift. And in this energy, especially in Taurus, it's not an overnight shift. This is like looking at the goal and then making plans, and kind of King of Pentacles or Knight of Pentacles energy, surveying the landscape, measuring like what our step needs to be next. Good to take your time, because when Uranus is involved, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and both benefics, Venus and Jupiter. Venus is the ruler, and she's right there as well. That is going to be something fortunate, but most likely it will need an adaptation. Will need to be adaptable. So he was showing me the giant tortoise on the path, and then suddenly something comes at the giant tortoise. The tortoise moves off the road, does something on the side for a while, takes his time coming back onto the path, and then again moving forward. So just know, if you have something now that you're starting out, there probably will be some hiccups, but those can be fortunate as well. And that may be the way that he's showing me now, that you come across the soulmates that you've been wanting to meet. Series is okay, sorry, I already said that. And then starting now and going until about the 15th, the sun is with Uranus. So that can be a very like hectic kind of energy. It's good to, just do a lot of deep breathing. Watch like where, if you're getting carried away with your thoughts, that's just the electricity. I think that we're having a lot of technical glitches now, too, just because of that Jupiter Uranus. Because I know a lot of people, I had Mercury stuff still happening, but that could be Uranus and Jupiter together. And so I think that we're kind of like seeing that fall away now, because Jupiter's going to move into Gemini by next month. And then the 15th, the sun is going to meet with Jupiter. That is a very fortunate, optimistic energy, and you'll start feeling that about the 11th. Really good to remember not to overpromise in that energy, because we feel like we can take on anything, and it's, we want to be careful that we're not, he's saying, raising expectations or raising the bar so high that we can't possibly hit that bar. And especially because Mars is in Aries now, Be careful, like lifting things, like, don't be like, oh, I've never been able to lift something this heavy before, and then try to pick it up. Because you will feel as if you could do just about anything. Mercury is going to be square Pluto while that is happening. So, that can be where we kind of have obsessive thoughts, but it's also a really good time to like take a look at, he's saying, the measure of your success, where you've come from, and he's saying how high you've risen, what you've risen above, what you've moved past. Venus then is going to meet with Uranus. So money and love, this is coming up to about the 19th. So it could take place really anytime now, up until the 19th to 22nd. I'd give it till the 22nd. That could be big shifts. And that could be partnerships that you maybe had at one time. You could even hear from someone that you haven't heard from for a long time. But surprising, he's saying acts of generosity. So that's good. If you have an opportunity to be generous, this is a very fortunate time to do that when Sirius is at play with all of this, because that will come back to you. He's saying manyfold. I was going to say how manyfold, but he said manyfold. So the 15th of May then, Jupiter, the 19th until the end of May, Jupiter is sextile Neptune, and Jupiter and Uranus or Jupiter and Venus are together. And that's going to be happening during the full moon. That is really like a pie in the sky, dreamy, fantasy energy, but okay, sorry, the camera froze. But good to be good time to use that energy he's saying forge ahead with plans and to remain optimistic. And remember that you have generations of souls, is the way that he's putting it, who are there, right? Neptune, be in the ethers, who are cheering you on. That he's saying your team is innumerable, that you are highly supported, is what he's saying, in your next steps moving forward. I know, like a lot of you, didn't expect, I don't think any of us expect to leave a marriage when we get married. Or expect to, he's saying long-term employment, that you may be letting go now in order to chase your dream, and you are completely supported in the physical. So good thing to remember. On the 23rd, I'm just going to cover this in case I am not able to be back before the full moon, but I think that I will. The 23rd then of May in Sydney, it's at 11:53 p.m. In Chicago, it's 8:53 a.m. And London, it's 2:53 p.m. on the 23rd. Jupiter and Venus are together at the last degree of Taurus. And that Sabian symbol is a peacock parading its splendor on the terrace of an old castle. We talked about peacocks the last time I made a video too. So this symbol shows, this is Linda Hill, by the way. She is an astrologer in Australia, and I love her. I love her website. She does a lot with the Sabian symbols. This symbol shows the beauty and splendor of private estates, wealth, and riches, Taurus. Behavior and presentation of form is of vital importance. Situations are likely to be well established, but could be slowly breaking apart. There is a need to maintain your grace and pride while also maintaining the center of attention. Peacocks, because of the many eyes on their feathers, are said to be watchers. They watch for intrusion and deception. Be wary of what's going on, but enjoy the beauty and elegance that surrounds you. And it is, when we're talking about Black Moon Lilith and just, everything that's happening with Neptune, be careful who you're telling your secrets to. And be careful of people who know your secrets. Be careful also who you allow in your energy. Be careful with your boundaries. And he's saying, like, you're protected, but to be careful, he's saying, you can love someone and accept them unconditionally and also see that they're not trustworthy. So be careful with people like that, especially people that don't show a lot of character and aren't kind to people behind their back. Um, but really, you guys, there's not so much of a shift in the planets between these moons. Like Venus keeps moving, but Mars moves up to where the North Node was, so it's pretty much interchangeable. But this is a fantastic month. Really, like if you have time to set intentions or do anything, if you don't have time to do anything else, start telling yourself in the mirror every day how much you love yourself and accept yourself unconditionally, that you're loved and supported. Train your mind in a new way. And he's saying to list the traits, make a list of the traits that you love about yourself. Because a lot of our self talk, just out of habit, we're used to negative self talk. Oops. And so we want to make sure to correct that. Something has to replace that energy. That's how it gets changed, is when we replace the energy with self-acceptance and self-love. Taking time to prepare your food is a good way to show yourself love. Just an easy way that something we have to do anyway. So yeah, that's all I have for you today, you guys. I know this was short, but I wanted to make sure to get on. If you're interested in joining our new moon group, we will meet tomorrow for this fabulous new moon and do some manifesting. You can always join the Becoming series that we do, practicing using our gifts and learning to hear from our souls, follow our intuition. And you can book a session with me. I'm wide open. So I'd love to talk to you. And I'm so happy to be back doing sessions, you guys. I love doing them. So anyway, you guys, I'm sending you so much love. I hope to be back with you soon. Thank you so much for being here, and happy new moon. Bye-bye.